Yeah, you can start. Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in this small session on hyperconverged infrastructure. My name is Noman, and I am a pre-sales consultant in Redington Gulf. Redington Gulf, for those who don't know, I think actually mainly people might be knowing what Redington is and what Redington does. Just for those who are new or just wanted to know more about Redington, so we are the value-added distributors. We design solution for many of our partners, our customers, and we'll make sure that we together we used to support our partners in commercially and credit terms and technically in solution design and in collaboration with HPE. And myself, actually, I am belonging to the hybrid IT group, like servers and storage and hybrid cloud and etc. So today's session, we would be focusing on the HCI portfolio of HPE. Not exactly a portfolio is a correct word, but actually it's a solution which is a next generation solution for hyperconverged infrastructure. Hyperconverged infrastructure is not a new word when we talk about these type of solutions available in the market. Hyperconverged infrastructure, those who are listening for the first time, it's actually a combination of your servers resources, like compute resources, and storage like capacity resources, or the what we can say, the storage resources, and networking, as well as on top of that any hypervisor layer or any management layer. So in short, it's a compact sort of data center which would give you a complete solution in a single pane of glass. That means that you would be having one single screen to manage your entire infrastructure, which which must be having a different building blocks, or we can say different sort of components that is comprising of your storage, your servers, your networking, or your hypervisor like VMware ESXi. Okay, so in the traditional infrastructure, these things are not integrated. So you have to manage your storage separately. You have to manage your server separately. You have to manage your VMware separately. So the thing is that you have different sort of GUIs, different things to manage. And when the upgrade comes in, so you have to take care of everything that falls into the compatibility part. So today we would be discussing not only on the hyperconverged infrastructure, but we want to just check that how HPE is going one step beyond and providing you for the first time HCI 2.0, means that we have hyperconverged infrastructure for the next level. This is why the topic of the presentation is reimagining hyperconverged infrastructure to take it further with HPE HCI 2.0. We'll take it on like how HPE can deliver that. Like first things first, if we talk about are we like ready for a change? So this question everybody should ask themselves, especially the IT team, and the answer is in front of you. The answer is, for example, like in the current pandemic situation, IT team has been challenged drastically. People has come up with the concept of working from home. So VPN connectivity, your local network connectivity, and your resources, your bandwidth, and the applications, how the applications can be accessed through while working from home. And if we talk about the healthcare industry, if we talk about the education sector, if we talk about the hospitality sector, every sector, IT team has been challenged drastically. So we can see that there is infrastructure complexities, even though if we talk about post-pandemic or pre-pandemic, these infrastructure complexities were always there, always a concern for the IT team. Constant firefighting means that IT team is more, like they were more focused on keeping the lights on, means that always focused on troubleshooting. They were always worried about the compute or the storage or the software layer or the application layer goes down. What would happen? Who would be raising a case, and how the problem would be resolved, and what is the downtime? Pressure to do more with less. This is the actual example of a current situation which we are facing. That we have the same infrastructure, but we have to extend that particular infrastructure to support users that are working from home, users that are teleworkers, users that are working inside the organization or outside the organization, or the connectivity issues, like whether they are working from different country or different state. So how the problem has been resolved by many of the vendors. The answer to the solution is not only, but exactly one of the answers is to go on a hyper-converged infrastructure. As we said earlier, the hyper-converged infrastructure is the combination of servers resources, storage resources, your networking resources, and your software layer, like your orchestration layer or the hypervisor layer. What actually it does, that it simplifies your deployment, means that you would be only deploying a single box which have everything. It's a compact box having everything. Imagine like Nutanix nodes or VX Railroad nodes or HP Simplicity nodes. Simple to manage. Obviously, you would be managing this infrastructure with a single pane of glass. So you would not be worrying about managing each and every boxes separately, because there is only single box, simple to manage. So unified management, eliminating silos between servers, silos between storage, silos between networking. So there is no pinpoint of the between the different teams, that whose issue is what. So that's why people consider, or people prefer to go on the hyper-converged infrastructure. The third point is simple to scale. Simple to scale means that if you want to scale out, that I need more resources. So simply you have to buy another node and attach to that those existing nodes which you have in your data center. Okay, so that's why it's simple to scale. Okay, and easy to upgrade, obviously, because there would be an upgrade that is on because you would be owning one single box. So all the compatibility checks which we discussed earlier, that whether to check the compatibility of a storage or ESXi version or servers, whether the compute resources are compatible or not. So in HCI you don't need to you don't need to check all those things, because in a simple compact box you will find everything inside it, and simply upgrade that box to have the latest software versions running on your applications and on your ESXi version. So the thing is that HCI is bringing simple to deploy, simple to manage, and also simple to scale as well. But we can also see that HCI is also bringing some sort of trade-offs as well. Trade-offs like it is been rooted in an architectural design of HCI. It's not something that we can take it out of the HCI solution, because as we discussed in the previous slide, if you want to scale out, you just need to add another node. There is no other solution for that. That means that if you are looking for only a CPU, or like only a processor to be upgraded, or only a RAM to be upgraded, or only a storage capacity to be upgraded, that's not possible, because you have to buy a complete node. That complete node would bring your compute resources, your, for example, like your processors, your RAM, your hard disk, and and your storage resources as well. So that compact node, you have to buy another node in order to expand, in order to scale out. So the thing is that either if I want if I want to only upgrade or only expand a storage, I cannot do that, because I need to, there is only one possibility to expand, is to add another node. And the other node is also not only bringing the storage, but also bringing the compute and RAM, which I don't need that at that particular moment of time. That's why we say that it's a linear and fixed scaling and waste of resources. So we have to rethink on the HCI architecture, because it's an architectural problem. We cannot do anything because HCI is meant to be designed like that. So we have to rethink how to just eliminate these trade-offs. So what solution we have? So let's say, imagine if you could have the hyper-converged infrastructure experience without any of these trade-offs. So what is the answer? We have designed something called the HCI 2.0 with the help of NIMBLE storage and HPE ProLine DL360s or DL380 servers. Like HPE ProLine would be a better name, because we support many of the ProLine series. Like we can support 360s, 380s, 560s, 580s, with that, which I'll discuss on a later slide. But the point over here is that this solution is far more flexible than the traditional HCI solution, though it gives you a complete HCI experience. That means that it is intelligently simple, it is absolutely resilient and efficiently scalable. Intelligently simple means that it is like AI powered. Obviously, I'll discuss you in detail that how InfoSight is been benefited and give you an edge of the HCI solution 2.0. Then absolutely resilient means that we have resiliency built in the nimble storage itself. We have dual controllers, we have triple parity RAID, we have all sort of redundancies like dual power supplies and everything on a storage level as well as the servers level as well. We have redundancy available on the ProLine level as well. If you see, if you can see in the picture that there are like two nodes working on N+1. So the point over here is that we have catered all the goodies of HCI and made it further better on the next level and gave an efficiently scalable option as well. That means that now you can scale your HCI infrastructure if you need only a compute node, if you need only a storage, if you need only a capacity. So there is no more node level architecture. So we have redesigned the architecture to give you the same HCI experience. This is findings of the third party like tech targets or other websites who basically test the devices and came up with some of the results. So they find that it's 10% more faster application performance is there. Means the application performance they have tested on Dell EMC VX Rail, and they have tested the same application on HPE NIMBLE storage HCI 2.0, and they have used 100 TB of effective capacity. Effective capacity means that the compression and deduplication has been enabled. Ability to withstand up to minimum 2 drive failures and triple mirroring. This because actually NIMBLE has a proprietary RAID system which is even far better than the RAID 6 available into the market. It can tolerate up to 3 drive failures. So even though if your first drive fails, if your second drive fails, if your third drive fails, but still the data is impacted, the data is the same, and it's not impacted as the 3 drive fails as well. That means that you can save your data up even if you have 3 faulty disks running. So the point is that it is far more resilient than a normal RAID 6 available in many of the storages. It is 4 times more reliable for the business critical application and 4 times more efficient for better economics. Now, hyper-converged experience from the install to upgrade. Now, when we actually install and upgrade, so what challenges do we face in the HCI solution? So here it has all the goodies of a traditional HCI solution, which is like simple to deploy, simple to manage, simple to scale, and simple to support. From simple to deploy, it says that within 15 minutes you can have a rack to app with the server and storage automation. That means that from the installation to the application delivery, it takes only 15 minutes. And also it would give you a complete automation, and your storage would be blended inside the environment, and you would be having only a vCenter plugin to manage your complete infrastructure. Like you would be having your VMs, you would be provisioning your VMs by the fluid pool of resources available in this HCI solution. Simple to manage, all VM-centric data services and resource management is available. So simple to manage means that you would be using the same vCenter plugin to manage your complete infrastructure, and there is no separate GUI required for NIMBLE or for DL360s or for any sort of other application. So you would be having a single pane of glass as a simple management, and it is available, and all those management engines required to run HCI 2.0 is integrated within the vCenter plugin. Simple to scale and upgrade. This point I have already discussed in the last slide, but just to emphasize further, it is like if you are adding one compute node, so it would auto discovers with the new resources. And this furthermore feature of this one click software upgrade, this is my favorite feature. That means that you don't need to check the compatibility of ESXi with the OS, or any firmware upgrades. What is the latest firmware? What is the latest firmware? What is the latest driver and all? So everything would be taken care by the SCI solution itself. And there is this is why we call it like a one click upgrade, because just one click and it's good to go, and your system is upgraded. Simple to support. We have something called predictive support, automation, and problem prevention with the help of InfoSight, which is the artificial intelligence tool available in the HCI solution. That would actually have giving you a support of the predictive analysis. It would give you an automation, means that many of the cases would be raised and resolved, like level 1 and level 2 cases would be raised and resolved automatically and without any manual intervention. And it would be like also it would be helping you in problem prevention, because it's something which is like problem occurs and then it would be resolved, and this is something which would give you some remediations, some optimization recommendations, so that you would not be having that particular problem. Simple for anyone to manage full stack infrastructure. If you are familiar with the vCenter, then this would be an obviously a piece of cake for you. And there are like a lot of other external features available for the NIMBLE HCI 2.0 that is available with the VMware vCenter, which is like software defined compute and storage abstracted and managed through from VMware vCenter. So that means that you would be having all integration of your software, of your storage resources, of your compute resources available from the vCenter itself. Auto discovery, as we discussed in the previous slide, that if new compute or storage resources are added, so it would be automatically discovered. There is nothing to be done on the configuration part. Even though if you talk about virtual volumes, so LUN provisioning is completely abstracted from the admin. So definitely the LUNs are properly provisioned, and virtual volumes would be easily accessible for the administrator. Policy-based automation. That means that VM-centric snapshots, clones, and recovery and the data protection is available. That means that if you want to have some sort of policies to be provisioned. For example, I need a backup of my XYZ VMs on a weekly basis, and some of the VMs on a daily basis, and some of the VMs on 6 months basis, depending on the virtual machines. So VM-centric snapshots and clones can be taken easily, and also recovery would be fast as well. Then we have integrated planning. This works along with the InfoSight. That means that you have full predictive full stack wellness. That means that InfoSight would guide you on the complete health check mechanisms, that your XYZ drive is healthy or not healthy, or XYZ resources are healthy or not healthy, and what you need to do in order to get the maximum performance out of that. What actually InfoSight is? Actually, InfoSight is the artificial intelligence platform that is having a rich database of somewhere around like more than trillions of the data footprints, that uses the analysis of many of the installed bases and learns from that. For example, like if any issue occurs in some of the virtual machine through any of the bug available in the VMware, so InfoSight would learn that and would auto remediate in your system, so that you would not face those sort of issues. That's why it is like an artificial intelligence working on the background that would help you in in having this wellness check, health checks. It would recommend, it would give its recommendation. It would also give you the best practice, that this is the best practice, so that you would be getting most out of your infrastructure, most out of your investment. And last but not the least, one-click upgrades, which we already discussed. This is like to simplify the life cycle management with a single click, and non-destructive software upgrades are there. If you want to upgrade your softwares, So there is no need to check the compatibility, the firmware, and everything. Your system would do it for you, and you just have to click one click, and you are good to go. These gives you some enterprise grade capabilities without any complexity. This is the a point for the SCI, that we are providing you a solution that removes complexity at the next level. What is global intelligence? The HPE InfoSight. As we discussed, that InfoSight is basically an artificial intelligence platform that give you a granular look of your infrastructure. What actually it does, that it not only supports on the storage layer, it supports your complete stack. Stack means that the resources available on the storage, your networking, your compute, your application layer. There would not be any fight between system admins and network admins and storage admins, that this is not your, this is not mine, this is yours, or this is not mine, this is yours. Okay, so it would give you a complete picture that actually what is the root cause of the problem which is arriving. So it would first of all give you an integrated wellness and planning. That means that health checks, and also planning means that you can have optimization plans and all. It would give you a root cause analysis, because we don't only want to resolve a problem by raising a ticket and get the problem resolved, but also it would give you a root cause analysis, so that you can know that this is the reason why the problem occurred, and we can stop those things happening in the future, and you would not face similar sort of problems going further in the future. This is why the root cause performance issues are very much important to us. It could also pinpoint the noisy VM. That means that the VM with the higher latencies, and the reason why the VM is having the high latencies. Either the ESXi version is not supporting, either the application is not supporting, either there is a network issue, either there is a resource issue. So it would pinpoint that. Repurpose the underutilized hosts. So the number of hosts available in the cluster. So it would automatically redirect the virtual machine to the most available host, so that the virtual machine could perform better in terms of resources. Optimize and recommendations. Obviously, because of this AI engine, it would give you a recommendation, remediations, that this is the best practice. Following these best practices would obviously increase the life cycle of the infrastructure, and also the performance of the infrastructure. So this is the snapshot which I was talking about, that it is just showing us that VM IO latency group at the data store, and it is like past 24 hours later. So it is showing us that single click performance review for all across all VM. For example, like in here we have more than 200 VMs running up. So it would show you at the bottom of the screen, if you see that the darkest VM having the most latency of 20 milliseconds or more than that. Okay, so it would you can pinpoint that particular virtual machine and resolve the issue, that where actually this latency is coming up. So explicitly root cause diagnostics and of the underperforming VM is also there. Context aware recommendation on optimized performance, because it would give you the context aware recommendations. Means that whatever contextual data it has, the AI has, that's if it is running the similar amount of workload in some of the other end customers databases or data centers. So what sort of best practices they are running up, so it should be knowing up, and it would obviously guide you up to have the best performance out of that. So we have transformed our support experience to the next level, obviously, because not only we are providing the predictive analytics, we are also providing you the automatic remediations, and because of this HPE InfoSight, your level 1 and level 2 cases are automatically generated and resolved without any manual intervention. So that means that you don't need to intervene in between, that I have some sort of issue in going on in my stack, because it would be automatically generated, and it would be automatically resolved, and you would only be experiencing a seamless performance. And if the issue is not there, so it would be considered as a level 3 issue, and the level 3 engineer would be notified automatically. That means that case generation is not your problem. Case generation would be done automatically from the info side perspective. And HPE would call you in like, instead of you calling HPE would call you and just get it notified that if this problem can be resolved with the layer 3 engineers. And we have a support satisfaction level of 4.91 out of 5. And also, just to make sure that we must be getting the root cause, uh, we would be having one call support for full stack experience. That means that you don't need to worry about that it's a storage issue, it's a server issue, it's a network issue. So you would be having a complete root cause that the issue was caused by the networking, XYZ port flapping or something like that. So it would automatically give you a complete diagnostics, complete report that why the issue occurred. Moving forward, it's like ready for demanding applications. So what actually we offer in HCI 2.0, which is like always on availability because of the nimble, we can guarantee 6 nines of availability because of its high resiliency. We have sub millisecond latency, which is like as low as 200 microseconds data response. With HPE nimble all flash arrays, we would be having if we are going with HCI 2.0 with all flash, so we can guarantee that it would be like 200 microseconds data response is there. There is no single point of failure because we have hardware redundancies and available to tolerate up to 3 simultaneous drive failures, which we already discussed, because we have something called a triple parity RAID, which is a proprietary RAID of nimble storage, and it is far better than the RAID 6 available as an industry standard. We have data protection inbuilt. That means that we have already discussed that we can have some backup backup policies. It's a policy driven backup, so we can create policies that we want a backup of more frequently, and these virtual machines can be recovered faster because it is an application consistent snapshot. This is the mechanism which we use, and advanced replication. Encryption is also built in. That means application level encryption is also there, and secure data sharing is also there. Now let's talk about the scalability. Okay, this is the most important point when it comes to the HCI 2.0 solution. When we talk about scalability, we say that we have independently scale performance and capacity. That means that we we want to eliminate over provisioning first of all, and add only the resource which we need. If we need a compute resource, we'll add a compute resource. If we need a storage resource, we'll add a storage resource. If we need a networking resource, we'll add a networking resource. Okay, and that's why we say that we upgrade transparently. We don't upgrade on node basis. That we don't scale on node basis. That you need a specific node. Either you're willing to you're willing to add a storage, or either you're willing to add only a memory resources or CPU resources. So this flexible scaling would give you the compute and storage independently scalable option, which is known as flexible scaling. Not only that, we can also provide you something called a cloud storage. Okay, because now we are talking about not only the private cloud, which is like your own data center. We also want to migrate data and also restore the data back into the public cloud, and again fetch back that particular public cloud data back to our own premises, because we might be running some cloud native applications. One more thing, if we want to have a multi-cloud environment, that means that we want to hop the data from the AWS to Azure, or Azure to Google Cloud. So what would be the solution for that, and how this HCI solution, HCI 2.0 solution, can leverage that? The answer is in the next slide. Okay, and after this particular slide. So here, let me just discuss on the scalability part, because let me just close the scalability part. Then I'll come to this cloud part, that how we can have the data migration from the cloud and to the cloud, and what we have to offer and on that particular point. Before that, let's just assume that in the start at the scratch, we have to start with at least 2 nodes because of the redundancy. So here we have to start small. we have 2 compute nodes minimum and 1 nimble storage to begin. And as the time passes, we can scale like that, and which is known as a scale out approach, and we can go up to 32 compute nodes. So this is a massive scaling available. But remember that this is an exponential scaling, and fluid resource pools of 32 compute node is there. But storage is not the same. Storage is only one nimble storage is there. Okay. So that means that compute node, you don't need to expand the storage as well. But if you really want to expand the storage, okay, if you really feel that now I need to increase the capacity as well, now I need to increase the storage as well, okay, so start whenever you want, whenever you need, start at that particular time. So one of the point is that you can just add the capacity, okay, just add the capacity and you are good to go. The capacity is, now we have, in this example we have 184 TB. But still, if you feel that, okay, I want more performance, okay, so there is another option to scale, which is like you can change the controllers, go with the larger controllers. If you have bought AF40, that is like all flash 40 controller, if you want more performance, so you can go with AF80 at the time of time. So this is the point, is that we are having a complete investment protection, and you are only spending when you need to spend. Furthermore, if you want to have a complete scale out, so we can have a scale up in which we can expand beyond initial deployment without disruption, okay, and we can also scale out as well. So here, see, we can have up to 32 nodes. We can have up to 1.6 million IOPS. We can have up to more than 9 petabytes of the data. So that's a huge scalability option available in the HCI 2.0. Now, the point that I was discussing over here, that unlocking the potential of the hybrid cloud. And the last example we saw that flexible scalability, we can also leverage the public cloud options as well. So if you want to move your on-premises to the public cloud and and go back again, so we have something called HPE Cloud Volumes. This HPE Cloud Volumes is a separate license which is like based on the capacity. What actually it does, this is the interface of HPE Cloud Volume. What actually it does, that you don't need to manage anything. Okay, it's already built in, and there is no egress cost, no cloud lock-in, and activates data with cloud compute. That means that if you want, for example, like if you want to set up a DR side on the cloud itself, like you want to set up a DR side on Microsoft Azure, for example. So on Microsoft Azure, you have to build your infrastructure first. You have to run the same virtual machines, or if you whatever application you want to back it up on the Azure. And if you want to restore it, you can easily restore it. But if you remove your data from Azure, you will have to pay the egress charges of the internet. So here, this particular thing would help you in getting it done, and you just have to buy the subscription of cloud volumes, and you just have to, then your egress charges would be eliminated. How? It's a magic? No. Actually, what happens is that we have a subscription with Azure, Google, and AWS as well. Okay, so we actually save your data on the cloud. Okay, and you can leverage our cloud volumes, and can leverage the AWS and Azure and Google Cloud, and use those particular public clouds to migrate your data in and out. Whenever you want to save the data on the cloud, you can save it. Whenever you want to bring that particular data on premises, you can do it. Whenever you want to use some cloud native applications, some containers, you can also do that as well. So the point is that we support data mobility. That means that you are not only trapped into the private cloud environment, but also now you have the leverage to go on a hybrid cloud environment. That means that you can touch your public cloud. There's a combination that you can have some of the applications running on the public cloud, and you don't also have the cloud lock-in as well, because you can migrate your cloud native applications on AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, whenever you, and whatever, wherever you want. And there is also no challenge in data mobility, and the native bidirectional support is there. So that means that there is an agility for DevOps team, obviously. And now you will have the hybrid cloud experience and container apps, as we discussed, and hybrid cloud for backup and DR. That means if you want to back up your data on the public cloud, and if you want to create a DR on the public cloud, so now that is easy to do with the Nimble storage. Here in this example, it is just showing that how the single platform for virtual machines and containers, the HCI 2.0, can serve both of the purposes. So it's nothing like you have to have a separate storage to run separate sort of workloads, because this same storage box would give you the virtual machines and app consistent storages, and also a container persistent storage as well. When we talk about the databases, the virtual admin, Microsoft, and the Medideck, and SAP HANA, and if we talk about the developers side of the environment, that means that Spark, Java, and if we talk about MongoDB, if we talk about GitHub, so all those containerized application tools are also supported. So you will have to have a single infrastructure to run all those application. Either it's a container based, either it's a VM, either it's application consistent storage. So we can support everything inside the same infrastructure. So what we have done up till now, we have learned that how Nimble storage can leverage you this HCI solution to the next level, which is known as HCI 2.0. What if I can say that there is more to discuss, which is known as timeless. Timeless is the ownership experience with Nimble storage that would give you an advantage of being of protecting your investment further. That means that if you there is a service called timeless. If you purchase timeless along with this HCI 2.0, that means that now you have an option for free controller, for new free controller after, for example, like if this controller goes end of life, for example, now we are standing on generation 5 controllers, and after 5 years or after 4 years, this generation 6 controllers comes up, which is obviously more faster in compute, more faster in the speed, in the agility. So if you have timeless subscription enabled, so you can easily upgrade your controller free of cost. So that means that we are talking about a solution which would last for decades, because now not only for 5 years, but we are talking about somewhere around like 10 to 15 years. So you are future ready, that if anything comes up in future, so you will be leveraged by the latest controllers available at that particular amount of time. So this is why we say it's a future proof new technologies. And we would obviously all other things like 969 availability guarantee is there, free HP Nimble storage, automation service, or software data services, and InfoSight is already been there. No forklift upgrade is there. Okay, so this is the beauty of getting this timeless subscription. That is obviously this timeless is optional, but it is always good to have a knowledge that what actually timeless is and how it can be beneficial for the environment. Now, the very much important part over here to discuss is that we have a consumption-based model, which is known as HPE GreenLake. And this HPE GreenLake, which is the consumption-based model of HPE, is ideal for a solution like HCI 2.0, because the HCI 2.0 is highly scalable, or I must say it is a flexible in scalability. That means that you can independently scale your compute, your storage whenever it is needed. Plus, the benefit of this GreenLake, it would give you a complete cloud-like experience on your private cloud as well. What do I mean with that? In public cloud, it is like in the public cloud we have pay as you go. In public cloud we have elasticity. In public cloud we have security in terms of we don't need to worry about the physical infrastructure. Same services, same thing, we are bringing to on-premises to your private cloud, okay, or your hybrid cloud. We can say hybrid cloud because if we also have a gateway to the cloud as well. So we can offer all this solution, all HCI 2.0 solution as a service to you. So the beauty is that you would only be paying what you are consuming. There is no upfront capital, no upfront cost, and you would be having the elasticity as well, because in GreenLake we have something called a local buffer, in which which would give you the capacity available ahead of demand. So you would be having a complete buffer on your data center. So it would be providing you the elasticity, that when the demand grows, so you have the resources available in your data center to utilize that, and when the demand shrinks, so you would be going back to your original consumption, and you would be only paying for what you are consuming. So this is one of the important points. So how we can do that? We can offer these services on a VM basis, which we say VM as a service. So depending on the number of virtual machines, we can offer the number of virtual machines as a service, as the same experience which you are getting into the public cloud. Better performance, or achieve better performance, guaranteed data availability, unified management. These are the points which are not available on the public cloud, because you don't know what your infrastructure is, and what your application is, and where your application is sitting around. And also there is a lot of dependency on the internet, on the dedicated lease lines connectivity. So here you have all those goodies of a public cloud, but on premises. Okay, so you can own your all layers of security. You can you can own your data center protocols, and all security of the data center protocols, plus enjoying the pay as you go model, enjoying the elasticity and all goodies of the public cloud. What benefit it brings to the environment, to the GreenLake consumption based model services would give you 30% obviously a capex saving, because there is no upfront capital cost is there. And also you would be saving something by eliminating the over provisioning. Why? Because for example, like if you need 20 TB of storage at day one, and gradually you would be having 100 TB at the time span of 5 years. So people make a mistake of buying 100 TB on day one, and the storage is just sitting on the data center, and the data center has been, and the storage has been underutilized, hence high over provisioning cost. We are saying that by if you need 20 TB on day one, buy 20 TB on day one, and gradually increase up to the 100 TB mark. So we would be installing, instead of 20 TB, we would be installing 25 TB, okay, and gradually increasing to the 100 TB as per the requirement. So this is why we are removing the over provisioning cost. 65% time to deploy global IT projects, obviously, because you would be saving a lot much of amount of time in the procurement. There is like no, you are eliminating the long procurement cycles of 3 months or 4 months and 5 months. Okay, and you basically are just working as a trusted advisor for the customers itself. 44% less time in spending the lights on, obviously, because in public cloud you have the data center, like physical data center is managed by the public cloud itself. Similarly, here HP can manage your entire data center. So your team would be sitting relaxed or focusing on the other innovations, other projects, other IT projects coming up on, and focus more on the business goals, rather than keeping the lights on and focusing on troubleshooting. 40% increase IT team productivity by reducing and support on load on the IT. That obviously this point is very much clear, that if the HPE or the vendor is taking the responsibility of the complete infrastructure, so hence the load on the IT team is much more reduced, and they can focus on further the productivity would be increased, and they can focus on many of the other business ideas. So as a summary, what we have HPE GreenLake for HPE NIMBLE storage HCI 2.0, that is like consume what you need, pay what you use, and unlock the agility to innovate. That means that these points are always self-explanatory. We have already discussed each and every point, that how we can take an advantage of this consumption-based model, specifically for this GreenLake and HCI combination. It works like a killer combination when we talk about the HCI 2.0 on the GreenLake, because it gives them most of the investment and all the goodies available of the HCI, and always HCI on the next level, and the beauty of the consumption base would give you a complete picture of a true hybrid cloud environment. This is one of the most important feature of HCI, which is like turn your HP ProLine into a private cloud. That means that if you are having if you have a data center which you have the HP ProLine servers already been running, so this is an active opportunity in which you can convert into the private cloud, as we discussed. Like by adding the nimble storage, you can have a complete solution which is known as HP HCI 2.0. How we can do that? We have two deployment models. One is known as the greenfield. Greenfield is the like as a scratch deployment. That means that it's a new deployment in which everything is new, in which you have new nimble storage either on VMware vSphere 6.7 only for the new installations. And then we have the Aruba switches, and similarly also we can have the same thing quality 10 gig switches. So we can use the new nimble storage, and if you want to add some new nodes into that particular solution, we can also do that. So this is known as brownfield, in which customer having its own servers available, so we can convert them into the HCI 2.0. This feature is not available with any vendor. If you are going with the HCI, so they would ask you to replace everything, and here we can obviously save the investment by leveraging their existing infrastructure and converting that infrastructure into HCI 2.0. So what is under the hood? We have storage in the family of hybrid flash, all flash, or storage SCM technology as well. Then we have compute. We have DL360s, the DL380s are also supported, generation 9, generation 10. We also support 560s, 580s, 325s, 385s as well. And for newer installations, we support 6.7 and 7.0. And for brownfield installations, we can support 6.5. We have for management, we have a VMware vCenter with integrated stack setup, with integrated stack manager and stack upgrade, which would give you a complete single pane of glass of VMware vCenter to manage your complete infrastructure of server storage and networking. Plus, we have two validated 10 gig switches, which would give you the network connectivity based on 10 gig for the complete for the full stack installation. This is one of the case study in which customer has leveraged that they were using public cloud before, and then how they moved from a public cloud to on-premises private cloud, and they are running somewhere around like 600 to 700 VDI users on different capacity, and specifically on the this current situation of COVID-19, they have moved to a VDI infrastructure, and they have reduced 50% of the cost as compared to the private cloud, as compared to the public cloud, and also 2 times faster VDI workloads and achieve 50% faster application provisioning. So when this slide would be shared, you can easily see the link of the press release, that how this organization has changed their mind from and coming back from the public cloud to the private cloud infrastructure. So what we have learned up till now, we have seen that this particular solution of HCI 2.0 can easily have a rack to app in 15 minutes. It would give you some 6 nines availability, and you can also have a flexible scalability by having zero wasted resources. This is this is it from my side. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, any feedbacks, please reach out to us, and we would be definitely happy to assist you in this regard. Thank you very much.
We have our winners. Our first winner is Mr. Sriram Rane. Second is Mr. Midhun. Third is Sushant Bhaskar. Congratulations, guys. Our agency will get in touch with you shortly so that you will be able to receive your vouchers. Thank you, everybody, for joining today.